In this Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous Companion build guide, I'm going to break down the best attributes, skills, feats, spells, mythic path, and equipment you should focus on to maximize Camellia's damage dealing and support hybrid build. I'll be showing an effective way to multi-class with a Cleric to gain additional healing abilities. If you're looking for a way to deal good melee damage with enchanted weapons while buffing and healing the party, then this guide is for you. This build focuses on wielding 2 rapiers while buffing one of these weapons to improve and alter its damage type. Aside from the martial prowess, Camellia also provides adequate support to the party. Multi-classing with the Cleric Angelfire Apostle archetype for 3 levels provides her with channel positive energy. With this ability, Camellia is able to mass heal her allies or damage undead enemies in one action. At level 1, you'll automatically receive the following feats, proficiencies, and abilities. Skill Focus Trickery receives additional bonuses on trickery skill checks. Courtier makes Camellia proficient with rapiers and bucklers. In this build, we'll utilize dual rapiers to provide the most amount of damage compared to short swords and daggers. Weapon Finesse improves hits thanks to your high dexterity modifier, which is added to attack rolls when wielding rapiers rather than the strength modifier. Shaman Proficiencies grants proficiencies with all simple weapons as well as light and medium. Object Bond lets you use another expended and prepared spell once more. Spirit Weapon Enchantment improves the damage of one of your rapiers. Unlike other bonus types with the same description, you're able to stack enchantment bonuses from weapons and this ability. Spirit Weapon Enchantment is also a swift action, which can be used in conjunction with another movement or attack per turn. At higher levels, you're able to change the damage type of your rapier. For instance, you can deal extra fire or cold damage with flaming or frost spirit enchantments. Meanwhile, Ghost Touch is advantageous against incorporeal creatures like the undead. It lets you deal damage normally and execute critical hits as if they had physical bodies without the 50% damage reduction. Channel Positive Energy provides access to channel positive energy and increases the amount of heal or damage you deal at caster level 3 for a Cleric. Extra Channel Cleric raises your usage of channel positive energy by 2 additional times. Fire Domain unlocks a couple of useful fire spells like Scorching Ray. Due to your high wisdom modifier, you can cast these more frequently per day. Starting at level 4 and every 4 levels after that, you'll be able to add 1 point to any of your attributes. Overall, Camellia has a well-balanced attribute spread. For instance, her wisdom and dexterity are 16 and 19 respectively the moment you recruit her. At levels 4 and 8, you'll want to increase wisdom by 2 to raise its corresponding modifier to +4. This is the Shaman and Cleric spellcasting ability modifier, which helps in increasing the number of bonus spells she's able to cast per day. Furthermore, it also boosts her spell's difficulty class, which is what enemies have to overcome to reduce the effectiveness of her spells against them. Next, you'll allocate 1 point into dexterity at level 12 to increase its modifier to +5. You'll also be equipping the Belt of Physical Form +2 to attain 22 dexterity with a modifier of +6. With these boots, you'll greatly benefit from Weapon Finesse feat, which allows you to add your dexterity modifier to your attack rolls instead of the 0 strength modifier. As such, you increase your chances of successfully hitting enemies with your rapiers at point-blank range. The high dexterity modifier is also useful to improve your armor class and defenses from attacks, as well as any ranged touched attack spells you may use. Lastly, at levels 16 and 20, you'll invest your final points into Constitution to raise your max HP. You'll then receive an extra +2 enhancement bonus from the same Belt of Physical Form +2, thereby raising this attribute to 18. In terms of Camellia's skills, you want to focus on trickery and perception. Having at least one ally who is an expert in trickery prevents your party from walking into traps while letting you obtain notable loot, hidden and locked chests, both of which are numerous in the game. You will also receive additional success bonuses due to your dexterity modifier. Next is Perception, which is further enhanced by your wisdom modifier. This pairs very well with trickery because it helps Camellia detect any type of danger such as hidden traps. Additionally, Perception helps in reducing the chances of being surprised by enemies when your entire party is resting. This means that they don't get the advantage of attacking you for one full round while you wait to retaliate in the succeeding rounds. From levels 3 to 20, you'll be able to choose 9 feats for Camellia with 1 feat at every other level. You'll focus on dealing damage with your rapiers, offensive spells, and hexes while supporting the party with buffs and heals. This hybrid build is useful especially if you don't have a pure healer like a Cleric with you. Starting at level 3, you ought to take these important feats. Weapon Focus Rapier. Gain +1 bonus to all attack rolls when wielding a rapier to improve your hit success rate. Two Weapon Fighting reduces the penalties you get from both hands when wielding rapiers. With this feat, you gain 1 extra attack per round with your offhand weapon, and your overall penalties for your primary hand and offhand are lessened to -4 each. Note that these are only applicable to your normal attacks, which means that when you make attacks of opportunity, neither of your attack rolls are negatively impacted. Piranha Strike. Gain damage bonuses at the cost of being minimally penalized for your attack rolls and combat maneuvers. In order to take this effect, you'll have to activate it prior to hit enemies. Improved 2 Weapon Fighting. Receives a second attack with your offhand weapon, although your penalty increases to -5. The penalties you receive for your attack rolls are offset via the Weapon Finesse feat, due to your massive dexterity modifier. Combat Reflexes increases the number of times you perform attacks of opportunity, which is based on your dexterity bonus whether or not you're flat-footed. Spell Penetration receives a caster level check bonus to raise the chances of overcoming an enemy's spell resistance in order to effectively damage them. Warrior Priest receive initiative and concentration check bonuses to go first in combat and to continue casting spells uninterrupted. You're more susceptible to these interruptions since you're dealing with enemies up close. Improved Critical doubles the threat range of your rapiers. For instance, with a rapier +1, your threat range to inflict a critical hit is 18 to 20. Improved Critical doubles this range, making it equivalent to 15 to 20, which means that you're much closer to pulling off critical hits. Remember to disable the Keen Spirit enchantment so you can select other useful enchantments instead of this bonus type, since it isn't cumulative. Toughness raises your max HP. Alternatively, you can try and take some of these other feats in the order you prefer. Precise Strike Teamwork Feat deals extra damage every time you successfully inflict melee attacks on a target being flanked by you or your ally. Back-to-Back Teamwork Feat receives +2 circumstance bonus to armor class to better protect yourself from attacks. For this to take effect, you'll have to be next to an ally who also has the same feat. Outflank Teamwork Feat boosts attack rolls when you and your ally are flanking the same enemy. Dodge adds +1 dodge bonus to your armor class. Selective Channel allows you to heal allies or to harm enemies without affecting either party. For example, if you cast Channel Positive Energy to heal your allies while in combat, none of your enemies will receive this benefit. Blind Fight improve the chances of hitting concealed enemies by re-rolling your initial missed attack. Additionally, the same enemy doesn't receive any bonuses in relation to staying invisible. As a Shaman and Cleric, you're going to buff the party before the start of an encounter so you can perform other actions once it begins. For the Shaman, you'll want spells like Bless, Barkskin, and Protection from Energy. Bless grants you and your allies +1 morale bonus on attack rolls and saving throws against fear. Barkskin provides the target with an enhancement bonus that's dependent on Camellia's caster level. However, this doesn't stack with accessories that provide a natural armor enhancement bonus to armor class, so it's best to cast Barkskin when you don't have these gears yet. Protection from Energy grants you and your allies temporary immunity from a specific energy type, may it be against fire or acid. Furthermore, you're protecting from more spell damage of the same energy if your caster level is high. On top of buffs, you'll want to invest in different stages of Cure Wounds spells to efficiently heal your party. When it comes to an enemy debuff, you'll want to get Sleep, which is very effective against humans like Baphomet cultists. Next, you'll have to obtain Remove Fear, which you'll mostly encounter at earlier levels. Restoration and Dispel Magic are also essential in removing any negative effects you or your allies may have received in combat. If you have other support classes in your party, you can opt to get Remove spells like Remove Curse, Disease, or Blindness. Given that you mostly face enemies at point-blank range, the best single target and AoE offensive spells to prepare are Inflict Wounds and Burning Hands, respectively. Both spells become more potent at higher caster levels. Inflict Wounds allows you to deal negative energy damage against any other enemy except for undead, which you'll otherwise end up curing. At level 6, you'll start multi-classing with the Cleric class, where the goal is to reach 3 levels to gain additional spells. I highly recommend reaching level 17 for Camellia's Shaman Spirit Hunter subclass in order to maximize the Spirit Weapon enchantment ability. This further improves the damage inflicted with the rapier. For buffs, it's best to take Divine Favor and Aligned Weapon. Divine Favor can only be used for Camellia. This improves her hits and weapon damage due to the luck bonus she receives. Meanwhile, Aligned Weapon changes her rapier's alignment to overcome the enemy's damage resistance. Finally, for offensive spells, the good ones to obtain are Scorching Ray, Bone Shaker, and Sound Burst. Scorching Ray is a potent fire spell, which is quite similar to Magic Missile in terms of its power and the projectiles or rays you can use to damage a target. Bone Shaker lets you control the skeleton of your enemy to engage in deadly self-harm. Lastly, you can stun a target for 1 round if they fail their Fortitude saving throw while dealing sonic damage. Due to multi-classing, you're able to choose 6 hexes for Camellia at different levels. Similar to important feats, it's best to take 5 of these in order. For the last one, you can choose any hex that fits your playstyle. Ice Plant provides +2 natural armor bonus to armor class. Evil Eye imposes a penalty on the target's armor class ability checks, attack throws, saving throws, or skill checks. This is useful in impeding the defenses and hits of your opponent. There's also no way to negate Evil Eye. Secret Metamagic and Power Spell greatly improves the damage of your spells since their respective spell slots are higher by 2 levels. Battle Master lets you deal additional attacks of opportunity per round. At levels 8 and 16, you gain access to weapon specialization and greater weapon focus. Both bonus feats grant you damage roll bonuses that are cumulative to enhance the damage you inflict. Battle Ward assigns a ward to your target to raise their armor class for a period of time. This ward disappears only when the temporary deflection bonus is fully consumed or after 24 hours. You can take 10 mythic abilities and feats in any order to make Camellia more well-rounded in combat. For mythic abilities, you should acquire the following. Enduring Spells lengthen the effects of your spells. Greater Enduring Spells enhances enduring spells. Abundant Casting increases the number of spells you're able to cast. Leading Strike lets your ally deal extra divine damage against a marked target, which happens as long as you hit them in melee combat. Ever Ready increases the attacks of opportunity you can execute per round. Every time you perform this action, you gain attack and damage roll bonuses. For Mythic feats, you ought to get Weapon Finesse Mythic, which allows you to use your Dexterity modifier in place of your Strength modifier on your damage rolls to make your damage much more potent. To further maximize your chances of inflicting better damage, you'll have to obtain Piranha Strike, Mythic. On the other hand, to rack up extra bonuses on your attack rolls, you'll need Weapon Focus Mythic and Extra Feat Greater Weapon Focus Rapier. Lastly, Flawless Attacks diminishes the penalty of your attacks from -5 to -4. You'll be able to take advantage of Camellia's medium armor proficiency by equipping the Chainmail of Camaraderie. With this, you get 9 armor class, and you're able to add a maximum of +4 Dexterity modifier. Moreover, you receive a damage bonus, which increases if you have the Outflank feat against the enemy you're flanking. When it comes to weapons, dual rapiers like the Mind Piercer made out of Cold Iron and Rapier +1 are sufficient for this build. You're able to overcome the majority of enemies' damage resistance since they're vulnerable against Cold Iron. Alternatively, you can equip a Masterwork version of the Rapier to get +1 attack bonus rolls. In terms of accessories, you want to wear the Ring of Protection +3 and Cloak of Resistance +2 to improve your armor class and saving throws respectively. To enhance Dexterity and Constitution by 2 each, you'll need to equip the Belt of Physical Form +2. For your headgear, you can choose between the Phylactery of Positive Channeling to enhance the effectiveness of Channel Positive Energy, or the Headband of Inspired Wisdom +2 to raise your Wisdom modifier by 1. If you have extra gold, be sure to purchase the Goggles of Pure Sight from the Jewelry Trader and Dresden to increase your chances of successfully overcoming the enemy spell resistances. Final tips. Camellia may sometimes be challenging to pilot since you'll have to alternate between enhancing melee attacks and damaging while casting spells to support the party. But once you get the better grasp of her playstyle, she becomes a valuable asset. Since she predominantly deals with enemies up close, you'll have to make sure to activate Acrobatics mobility. Although your speed is halved, this ensures that no enemy performs attacks of opportunities against you as you move around them. In case you run out of a spell that you wish to cast, remember to trigger Object Bond. This ability lets you use any of your depleted and prepared spells one more time. Lastly, remember to cautiously cast spells like Burning Hands because you can deal massive amounts of damage against allies who are standing in the spell's AoE. Stay tuned for more companion build guides, and be sure to check out our Twitch channel if you have questions about the game, or head over to the official Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous wiki if there's some information that you need. What did you think of the guide? Which companion would you like to see next? Let us know in the comments below.